Hello everybody, Todd here, all things archery and shooting, and today I've got another bow review for you today. Today I've got a new bow that's being released by Bear Archery. This bow has just come back into production. It's been out of production since 1977, and Bear Archery gave me a call and said, "Hey Todd, you want to review one of our new bows coming out for your channel?" And I said, "Sure, which one?" He said, "We're bringing the Kodiak Hunter back." That's what this is, the Kodiak Hunter. I said, "Really? I've been wanting to get my hands on the Kodiak Hunter for some time now." He said, "We got one. I want you to review it for your viewers and let us know what you think." So I went down and seen my buddy Jared over at the pro shop at Bear Archery here in Gainesville, and they handed me this bow. This is a Bear Kodiak Hunter. All right, it's a 60-inch AMO bow. It's got a draw weight of 45 pounds at 28 inches. It uses Arctic glass on the back and the front. It has Sheddoa wood in it with a phenolic stripe. It's got a bear hair rest with a leather plate on it. It has white capping on the front here, fiberglass crown, also on your limb tips as well too. The bow uses a fast light string, which is a Flemish twist fast light string. This is a 16 strand string. All right. This bow was last in production in 1977. The last time it was built, and that was at the Grayling plant when Bear had their plant in Grayling, Michigan. So Bear Archery's been bringing back some of these older traditional bows now. And this is built on the same presses and the same dies as the original. All right. A couple of information I got in the bug. A little quick card here. This bow is not available yet, but it should be available any day now. Probably by the time that this is uploaded and you see this video, you'll be able to get a hold of your local Bear Archery representative and get one of these bows. But I'm telling you, there have been people want this bow for a lot of years. Okay, I mean a lot of years. Okay. All right. This bow was originally introduced in 1967. As a Kodiak Hunter. This is one of Fred Bear's favorite hunting bows. I'm reading right off the press release from Bear Archery. Okay. The bow has overlaid clear maple limb cord, which is two cores of maple in here. It's backed by high strength gray fiberglass. The color is called Arctic gray fiberglass on the belly and the back of the bow. It uses a Sheddoa riser with a phenolic stripe down the middle of it. Okay. It's this draw weight is 45, but it goes all the way from 35 pounds all the way up to 60 pounds in right hand. If you're left hand, you're kind of limited to 40 or 45 pounds. All right. The bow has your typical Bear Archery side view with a really intense recurve to the tips. All right. But I want to tell you, the bow itself is it's a gorgeous bow. I mean, it really is. I mean, this bow is just unbelievably pretty. I mean, I've always wanted to get my hands on a Kodiak Hunter, and they're really hard to find. When you find them, they're quite expensive. By the way, the retail price on this bow, when it hits the market, is going to be $529 suggested retail, which I think is a steal for this bow. But looking at this bow, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, that Arctic gray glass on it, the Sheddoa wood in it, the grain's beautiful, the phenolic strip goes right through the middle. It really sets it off. The white fiberglass capping and the white fiberglass on the limb tips. I mean, this bow is a really good looking bow. It's also a matte finish bow, so it's not real shiny. So it'll be just as much home in the woods or in a tree stand or a blind as it would be on a 3D range. All right. Again, the bow is 60 inches. It's got a 45 pound weight at 28 inches, and my draw length of 29.5 inches. According to my hand scale, it pulls just right at 50 pounds. On my tiller machine, when I pull it back to 28 inches, my tiller machine registers at 47 pounds. So the bow's 2 pounds heavier than actual listed weight, which is, most Bear bows are run between 1 or 2 plus or minus what the listed weight on the riser is. It's a lightweight bow. Okay, these bows are quite quick for the time and quite a bit of snap to them. We're going to put that to the test when we get out to the range in a few minutes. Speaking of the range, we're going to test this bow with 2 separate arrows. Again, this bow is pulling 50 pounds at my draw length of 29.5 inches. So the first arrow we're going to use is going to be an 8 grains per pound of draw weight. This is a 450 spine carbon shaft. It's 30 inches long, uses a 100 grain point on the front of it, 4-inch turkey feathers. All right. This comes in right at 402 grains. Okay. The second arrow is going to be my hunting weight arrow, which this arrow here is the same 450 spine shaft, but it has a 100 grain insert in it right here. Oh, I'm sorry, 150 grain insert. And a 125 grain point on it. It uses 4-inch turkey feathers, and the total weight of this arrow comes in at 612 grains. Okay, so again, 403, 612 grains. So we're looking at 8 grains per pound of draw weight and roughly 12 grains per pound of draw weight. So we're going to see how this bow performs out in the range. All right, let me give you a real close-up of this bow and see how gorgeous this bow is, okay? Okay, as you can see, that's the Shadoa wood riser with the phenolic strip in it. You find this similar like on the Super Grizzly and the Kodiak Specials. You got your white fiberglass crown on it as well too, with a black phenolic behind it as well. That Arctic gray is gorgeous on this bow. Look at the limb tips in this thing. Fiberglass limb tips. You can see here it's got the 2 layers of maple inside it, so this bow should be quite snappy. All right. Here's your Bear medallion, of course. All right. Here's the Kodiak Hunter emblem on the front of it. And here's your bow specs right here. You can see it's a 45-pound bow. All right. Look at the top of the limb. Here's the belly of the bow. There's this Kodiak Hunter. Beautiful. The string's really nice string on it. And of course you've got your tips also of fiberglass, and these are reinforced. This can use fast flight. The string on the bow is a D97 fast flight string. All right, let's head out to the range now and put her to the test and see how she shoots. Okay everybody, Todd here, All Things Archery and Shooting. We're going to go and get part 2 of this review on the range test for this Bear Kodiak Hunter bow. We're going to be shooting 2 arrows across this chronograph, 6 shots each, and see what the speed is, and we do an accuracy test as well, and I'll give you my thoughts how the bow shoots and what I think of it. Alright, let's go to get started. Okay, first arrow we're going to test is going to be the 8 grains per pound of draw weight, 403 grain shaft. The chronograph's about 10 foot in front of the tar. I'm going to be about 10 foot behind the chronograph. Let's see how it does. Put 6 shots. First shot. 183. Second shot. 184. Fourth shot. 185. Fifth shot. 182. Sixth shot. 84. Last shot. 184. Okay, now we're going to try this 600 grains per pound. This is a 600 grain arrow. These are 603 grains, and it's about 12 grains per pound of draw weight. Let's see what we got. Remember, this bow is coming in just at 50 pounds. First arrow. Let's go ahead and reset this. Okay, here we go. All right, first arrow. 167. Second arrow. 165. Third arrow. 164. Fourth arrow. 163. Fifth arrow. Ooh, 147. Let's do a fifth arrow. Okay, fifth arrow. I don't trust that 147. Let's try that again. Fifth arrow. 160. There we go. That's better. Sixth and final arrow. 159. Okay. Okay everybody, Todd here, All Things Archery and Shooting. I'm going to go and get part 2 of this review on the range test for this Bear Kodiak Hunter bow. We're going to be shooting 2 arrows across this chronograph, 6 shots each, and see what the speed is. I'm going to do an accuracy test as well, and I'll give you my thoughts how the bow shoots and what I think of it. Alright, let's go to get started. Okay, first arrow we're going to test is going to be the 8 grains per pound of draw weight, 403 grain shaft. The chronograph's about 10 foot in front of the target. I'm going to be about 10 foot behind the chronograph. Let's see how it does. Put 6 shots. First shot. 183. Second shot. 184. Fourth shot. 185. Fifth shot. 182. Sixth shot. 84. Last shot. 184. Okay, now we're going to try this 600 grains per pound. This is a 600 grain arrow. These are 603 grains, and it's about 12 grains per pound of draw weight. Let's see what we got. Remember, this bow is coming in just at 50 pounds. First arrow. Let's go ahead and reset this. Okay, here we go. All right, first arrow. 167. Second arrow. 165. Third arrow. 164. Fourth arrow. 163. Fifth arrow. Ooh, 147. Let's do a fifth arrow. Okay, fifth arrow. I don't trust that 147. Let's try that again. Fifth arrow. 160. There we go. That's better. Sixth and final arrow. 159. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put 5 arrows on this Morel's target. It's a full-size bore target. I'm gonna step back 20 yards and put 5 arrows in here. We're gonna check for accuracy. Then we're gonna move over to my other target, my 3D targets, and we'll try it on there. Let's see how accurate this bow is. Okay, here we go. 20 yards. Okay, first shots, I got 3 in the right in the bullseye, and I got 2 in the 9. Okay, 20 yards. All right, let's try it on my 3D hog. Okay, we're going to try it on this 3D hog and also on this bobcat that I have here, and then we'll try it on my rabbit here as well. Let's step off 20 yards, see what we can do. Okay, as you can see, I got one just a tad high on the rabbit, just a tad low on the bobcat, all still killing shots. On the hog, I got one in the top corner of the 10 circle and 2 right in the 9 circle, probably less than 3 inches there. All right, now we're going to do a 1/4 away shot in this hog. I'm going to shoot from an angle here coming in, step off 20 yards 1/4 away, see how it does. All right, that's 1/4 away. As you can see, we got 2 in the 9, 1 a little bit low. All right, let's step back and get some overall shots of the bow. You can see how the tilt of the bow is, everything else, and we'll see how that works. Okay, I'm at my 20-yard line. Let's see how it shoots. I put 2 more down there. Okay, looks like a pretty good group from here. Looks pretty good from here though, but we'll take a walk there and take a look at it. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put 5 arrows on this Morel's target. It's a full-size bore target. I'm gonna step back 20 yards and put 5 arrows in here. We're gonna check for accuracy. Then we're gonna move over to my other target, my 3D targets, and we'll try it on there. Let's see how accurate this bow is. Okay, here we go. 20 yards. Okay, first shots, I got 3 in the right in the bullseye, and I got 2 in the 9. Okay, 20 yards. All right, let's try it on my 3D hog. Okay, we're gonna try it on this 3D hog and also on this bobcat that I have here, and then we'll try it on my rabbit here as well. Let's step off 20 yards, see what we can do. Okay, as you can see, I got one just a tad high on the rabbit, just a tad low on the bobcat, all still killing shots. On the hog, I got 1 in the top corner of the 10 circle and 2 right in the 9 circle, probably less than 3 inches there. All right. Now we're going to do a 1/4 away shot in this hog. I'm going to shoot from an angle here coming in. Step off 20 yards, 1/4 away, see how it does. All right, that's 1/4 away. As you can see, we got 2 in the 9, 1 a little bit low. All right, let's step back and get some overall shots of the bow. You can see how the tilting of the bow is, everything else, and we'll see how that works. Okay, everybody, it's Todd, All Things Archery Shooting. Just got back from the range with this bow for the range session. So what y'all think of the range time with this bow? I think it performed quite well. I mean, the bow shot well, didn't have any hand shock to it. It wasn't that loud, it was pretty quiet. I heard a very little noise from the bowstring hitting the recurve limb tips, but other than that, it's fairly quiet. No hand shock. It's not really super fast. I mean, back in the day, this was a really fast bow, but compared to the newer bows that are being built now, I've got other bows in the same weight that are a little bit faster, but it's by no means a slow bow. I mean, it handles real well. It shoots really well too. I mean, it fit me just fine. I've always liked the Bear line of bows. Quality it's a really beautiful bow. But let's go ahead and get into the rating of this bow. I always rate my bows on 6 criteria. Okay, and it's scored on a 1 to 10 for each criteria for a maximum score of 60. The 6 criteria I rate these bows on. This first one is going to be the quality and fit and finish of the bow. Second is going to be the specifications of the bow, how close the bow meets specs to the manufacturer. Third is the shootability bow. And that shootability is completely subjective on my part. It's how quick I can pick the bow up and get on target with it, okay? So some bows take longer, some bows take less, and so that's what my shootability score is. Fourth is the speed of the bow, how fast the bow can cast an arrow across the corner graph. We'll be using 2 weights here, 8 grains per pound of draw weight and 12 grains per pound of draw weight, which is a 400 grain arrow and a 600 grain arrow. We'll see how fast the bow moves it. Quietness bow, how quiet the bow is, if there's a lot of limb smack, limb noise, limb vibration, string vibration, hand shock, whatever. And last but of course not least is the value of the bow. This bow, good value for your money. Let's talk about the first one. The first one is going to be the quality of the bow. Bear Archery has always been high on their quality. That was one thing that Fred Bear really beat into the heads of his workers. Quality is number one thing with Bear Archery, always has been. There's still bows out there made in the 50s and 60s you can take now on any hunting trip in the world and kill any big game animal you want. Now that's a quality. I mean, bows that are 50, 60 years old that Bear built back then are still just as good today as they were back then. So quality for Bear has always been outstanding, and this bow is no exception. This is the new Kodiak Hunter. Remember, this bow has not been produced since 1977. And it has been produced on all the exact same dies and same presses that was used back in the Grayling plant from Bear Archery before they moved to Gainesville in the early 80s. So this bow, I mean, the fit and finish of the bow is gorgeous. I mean, the phenolic stripe through it is good. There's no glue lines. The Shadoa wood has no sanding marks on it. I mean, you've got the crown piece is gorgeous on it. No rough edges at all. Even the knock-ins are really nice and really pretty. So, I mean, this bow is very well built and very well made. The strings of a high quality string. So for quality, we're going to get the bow a 10, okay? Let's talk about the specifications of the bow now. The specifications of the bow, according to Bear Archery, I got their press release right here. This is supposed to be a 60-inch bow, which it is, overall ammo length, 45 pounds at 28 inches. Well, it's not 45 at 28 inches. This bow actually comes in at 47 pounds at 28 inches. The reason I say that because I checked it on my tilter machine and it's actually 28 inches. But Bear Archery mostly has always been done, they round their bows up to the nearest 5. And I understand it from a marketing standpoint, but it's not a true rating on this. So if you think you're getting a true 45-pound bow, you're not. That's going to be changed based on draw length. If you got a shorter draw length, it's going to be less weight. Longer draw length is going to be more weight. But at 28 inches, it doesn't come in at 45. It comes in at 47, at least on my testing on this model. You can always check behind the leather plate on the riser. Bear Archery always puts the actual weight of the bow as they test it behind that riser, so you'll know. So the only thing that doesn't meet the specifications on that is this one thing, is the weight and the draw length. It does have 2 layers of bamboo in the limb, which is correct. It uses Arctic ice glass, which is correct. Has a D97 fast fly string, which is also correct. So because of the weight being a little bit off, I'm going to have to give the bow a 9 in specifications because it doesn't quite meet it. All right. Next will be the shootability. This is how quick I can pick the bow up and shoot the bow. I've been shooting bear bows for many years now, and I really love bear bows. They just fit my hand really nice. So I can shoot them quite well. And I was able to pick this bow up and right away without any kind of hard practice or getting into it. I could get arrows right on target at 20 yards with no issue. So the bow for me is a great bow because I'm so used to shooting bear bows. Now that might be different for you, but overall this bow is very shootable. It's easy to pick up, easy to shoot, and it's very accurate, easy to get on target with. So shootability, I'm going to give it a 9. Let's talk about the speed of the bow now. Now back in the day when this bow was in production, this is one of Fred Bear's favorite bows. He loved to hunt with this bow, mostly because of the cast and the speed of the bow was quite high for the time. This bow here now, it's not as fast as some of the bows that are out there, but it's still pretty quick for what it is. Remember, it's a 45-pound bow at 28 inches. And shooting the 2 arrows that I put through it, a 400 grain arrow and a 600 grain arrow hunting weight, the 400 grain arrow tripped my chronograph at about 184 feet per second with 30 foot-pounds of kinetic energy, which is quite respectable. At the 600 grain weight, which is a really heavyweight arrow, 12 grains per pound of draw weight, this arrow tripped my chronograph at 165 feet per second and 36 foot-pounds of energy. So the bow it's quite snappy. It's not really super fast, but it's not slow either by no means. There's a lot of bows that are slower than this one. There are also a few out there that are faster. But for the price range that you get this bow for, you really, I mean, it's got the speed it needs to be. So we're going to give it an 8 for speed, okay, out of 10. Okay, now number 5 is the quietest bow. How quiet does the bow shoot? Well, the bow is extremely quiet. Most recurves are. Most of the only noise you ever get from a recurve is you get the string slap in the string groove on the recurve. That's really the only thing I could hear on this bow when I was setting it off. That's easy to fix with a piece of felt. But there's no hand shock at all. There's no string vibration or anything like that. So the bow is quite quiet for what it is. So for quietness, just because of that string slap I'm getting right here on the recurve, which is all recurves, not just bare knee recurve, you always get that string slap there. You're looking, I'm going to have to get an 8 for quietness. Now, of course, when I put some felt on there, that'll quiet that right down. Now let's talk about the value of the bow. This bow retails right now for $529. Okay, that's just the retail. It's not quite available yet, but it will be in a few weeks. I'll put a contact information in the description box for my buddy Jared at the Bear Pro Shop here in Gainesville. give him a call. He could probably get you one if you want. Otherwise, you can check with your local Bear reps and see if they have it. I looked online. I've seen these online advertised already, but they all are saying to be determined when the stock's going to be available. No one has any in stock that I can see. So that's not being said. This is a pre-production release bow they gave me to try out and review for you guys. But by the time this video hits the YouTube, it should be a full production, and you should be able to find it pretty much anywhere Bear bows are sold. But give it a look at. $529. The value's there. It's a really good price. This bow will last several generations. Something you can hand down to your kids. All right. So I mean, it's a very good value. So for value, I'm gonna give it a 9. Now, last, I want to talk about my recommendation of this bow. This bow I really wouldn't recommend for a first-time shooter because it's a very high-performance bow. But for an intermediate shooter or more pro shooter that likes traditional archery, this is a great bow for it. For someone coming right over from a compound into a recurve, I probably wouldn't go this route. I'd probably go something like the Grizzly or something of that nature to start with. That's not to say that a beginner couldn't pick this bow up and shoot. I'm just saying this is more of an intermediate to a more progressive bow for a more advanced shooter. But I'm sure anyone with a little bit of practice can pick it up and shoot it well. So that's my recommendations. Great bow for intermediate to advanced shooter. It's lightweight. It's super accurate. It's quite speedy. So, I mean, you really can't go wrong with the Kodiak Hunter. Like I said, this bow's been out of production since 1977. There's been several recalls and several customers for years have been trying to get this bow back, and Bear Archery's finally bringing it back. So when you get a chance, check this bow out online or give Jared a call at the pro shop. He can hook you up. All right, well, this has been Todd, all things archery and shooting, and until next time, guys, ciao.